Honorable members of KYPA, good evening. Hamjambo. Bwana asifiwe. God is good. Now, I didn't get the memo on how to dress. So I blame my good friend Mukunji when he asked me to come and be part of this occasion. I had informed him that I will be on my way to the airport, and he told me, there is no problem, Mr. President, this is good, just come. Now, I don't want to look disrespectful to this August gathering, because as a former member of KYPA, I take this organization very seriously. As has been said, when I was first elected member of parliament in 1997, Kasheri ulikuwa darasa la ngapi? She was 2 years old. So in 1997, when I was first elected at the age of 31, Parliament those days was a parliament of very old people. And young people were very rare. I think we were about 6 or 7 that were below 35. So we tried to come up with KYPA, but it was not effective because it was a bit, but eventually other members led by Sakaja came and took over, and they formed a formidable organization that today we celebrate, KYPA, a very resourceful group of leaders. Congratulations to all of you for what you're doing as young leaders in the Republic of Kenya. The time I have between now and 9:30 is very brief. And I would really want to have a conversation with you, members of KYPA, because you influence the present and you are the future. And I really want to have a very candid conversation with you as a leader in Kenya. And I'm very happy that this organization is bipartisan, that it cuts across parties. And that is how we had conceptualized it. It was supposed to be that way. And it was supposed to be about members of parliament who are young, how they can be better leaders. And because I have gathered some experience along the way, and I know a few things about leadership, I would really want to share those things with you, given an opportunity. And if you agree, Bwana Chairman, allow me to ask that maybe today we launch the strategic plan, and then we get another occasion when we can have a conversation. And I am not looking for a formal conversation, no. I am looking for an informal conversation so that I can help you, I can, give you insights on my experience and my belief that this country is a really great country. And we can make it greater together. So let me just say 2 or 3 things. Is it acceptable to you, Mr. Chairman, that we do another meeting? Yeah? Do you agree that we have another session? And since I heard that you wanted a very nice place, I can organize a nice place. Then we can, we can sit probably in the evening around a fire, and I can tell you a few things. Let me just say 3 things. Number one, leadership is sacred. It is godly. It is serious. So don't take it lightly. I see many leaders who are elected, they come into office, or they are nominated for that matter. They come into office, and they think it's a joke. You know? They don't take it seriously. And in due time, you suffer the consequences of not taking your job seriously. I have told you, leadership is serious, leadership is sacred, it is godly. Nobody becomes a leader by default or by mistake. All of us are elected because the good book says it is God who decides leaders. So you must take leadership seriously. Because leadership is serious, and leadership determines the future of nations. Successful nations are made successful by leaders. Great nations are made great by leaders. Retrogressive, poor nations are made poor by leaders. That's it. So, if we end up with a nation that is not progressive, don't look for anybody to ask. We should ask ourselves as leaders. So, we must take it seriously. Parliament is called the August House. It's the most important platform. It's a premium platform. It is a platform that shapes the destiny of a nation and a people. Many of you take the floor of Parliament for granted. You don't show up. You've not even tried to say anything. You're just there at the tea place. Yeah, nazunguka hapo tu, unang'edhi hapo, na fitina. Please, take the floor of Parliament seriously. And I know, because I've been in Parliament, and it's a very difficult platform. You stand there and words evaporate, and you don't know what to say. And you say two things, Kiingereza inaharibika kidogo, unateleza namna hii, mtu anasema point of order, unachanganyikiwa, unaketi chini. Now, a friend of mine was talking to me yesterday, a lady from Ethiopia. She's supporting our plan on UHC. And she told me, Mr. President, I know you have a plan on UHC. I advise you, don't make perfect become the enemy of the good. Perfect should never become the enemy of the good. Don't wait until you are perfect. Yeah? Let me put it in a different way. If you take a risk, you might fail. If you don't take a risk, you will surely fail. Right? Because you will not move. Are we together? So, whether it is on that floor of Parliament, whether it is on any other fora, take a risk. Don't make it perfect. Keep trying. You will get it there one day. So, keep at it. I want to encourage you. Keep at it. As members of Parliament, and I say this to many, especially members of my team, or my party for that matter. I know they have heard this from me many times. Take your job seriously. You have 3 responsibilities as an elected member: to represent your constituents, to legislate in Parliament, and to oversight public resources. Many members of Parliament don't take their job of representation seriously. Understand the issues, understand government programs. I don't have time, but I really want to talk to you guys. Now, and I'm saying this out of experience. Understand government programs in your constituency. Don't go to a meeting without knowing what you're going to say in your constituency. Umesimama hapo, umeenda tu kwa mkutano, unasimama hapo, unaongea kidogo hapa, mtu anasema unga. Unaanza kusema bei ya unga imepanda. Mwingine anasema hapo sijui nini. Then you come out of there, you don't know what you wanted to say. Have a plan. Understand how many teachers have been hired by government in your constituency. Yeah? For example, last year, we hired 56,000 teachers. Medhu, do you know how many teachers we hired in Nyandarua? You should know, right? And you should be able to stand in a platform and say, good people, ever since I became senator of Nyandarua, we have hired 2,000 teachers. I mean, people will then say, okay, you know, members of Parliament, how many teachers did we hire in your constituency? Do you know? Many of you don't. We have data on electrification, constituency by constituency. How many members of Parliament have gone to the Ministry of Energy to find out my constituency, what is the number of, what is the amount of money allocated? When you hear me come to any county, you hear me speak numbers. It is because I take my job seriously. I read. I take time. You know, I look for information. Lakini wewe unasimama tu unaenda hapo, sisi serikali imetubagua sana. Tumekwisha. We are finished. Sasa wewe, you are the leader. And leadership, the merchandise of leadership is hope. If you start selling desperation, you are the wrong person. Nasikia mheshimiwa. So I really want to have a conversation with you so that we can help each other. Because this experience some of us have gathered over the years, we cannot package it into, we cannot sell it in a kiosk. We can only help mentor other leaders to be better than us, and so that we can have a greater nation than we do, with greater leaders in the future. Let me also say that when you have your job of representation, get as much information as you can. Know what is happening, read, get data, so that when you speak authoritatively. I have heard Mukunji here say, the chair, that when I travel abroad, I should go with some of you. That is very good. Pigeni makofi huyu mjamaa. Lakini sasa ujaondoka kwa constituency yako, ujaenda the next constituency, na unataka kwenda ngambo. Unataka kwenda kufanya nini ngambo? Si uanze kwanza wewe kama Mukunji ni kuone Bungoma. umeenda kuona Bungoma, hii ndio vile, this is Bungoma. Haya, utoke hapo uende Vanga. Let me give you my personal experience. Is Kiborek here? Kiborek, there is a day you send me a copy. I don't know who. Somebody sent me a copy. It is you. So in Mogotio, in 1996, I had already gone there to sign a visitor's book. Mogotio from Eldoret is very far. Tunaelewana? So, understand your country. Friends, I am very happy that you have said it's cross-cutting. I want to see Medhu. I want to see all these younger people, Wewe Kimayo. I want to see Karemba. I want to see this young man, Silvanas. Understand your country. That is how you can legislate better. That is how you're going to know if we are passing the sugar bill, if we are passing the coffee bill, if you have never been to a coffee growing area, what meaningful contribution can you make in Parliament? So unaongea tu hewa. I encourage you, and I am saying this from experience. I remember I went to Vanga. I wish Chief Oromodo was here, the MP from that corner. I went to Vanga in 1998. I was member of Parliament for Eldoret North. I met a gentleman there called Ngare. I still have his phone number today. Nikimpigia anachukua. You know? That's how you build a network. You know? Si mumesema ati tuko na marais hapa? Ama mulisema namna gani? Wako? Network. Weka network. Anza kupanga network. Mnanielewa? When you get a chance on the floor of Parliament to legislate on matters that affect our country, use that platform to make our country better. The quality of legislation is going to be determined to a great extent by what government does, but it will be influenced by how Parliament executes and make sure the legislation is in place. So, my friends, this evening is short. I just wanted to give you some snippets of what I think you should do. When I say leadership is serious business and it determines the destiny of nations, I will give you two examples. Last year, we made a decision that we are going to change the funding structure. Right? Last year. And we said, it is not tenable. You know, we must be honest with ourselves. We said that we were going to pay 80% for every student who goes to university. We could not afford it. So for almost 15 years, we knew we could not do it, but the problem is that nobody wanted to make the decision to say, let us change it. So tukaendelea, you know, we are only giving 40% of the money, we are promised 80%. So bills in a build-up kwa university, universities started to pay lecturers half salary, accumulated debts. They now have debts of like 60 billion. So last year, I made the decision and said, we are going to change the funding structure. Parliament, of course, was very hostile, said, no, look at this guy. He has introduced fees in the university. Namna. Anyway, let me give you the good news. Last week, I was with 41 vice-chancellors from our universities. Because we changed the funding model and we said, scholarship is not going to be available automatic. You're going to apply. Do you know what happened? 20% of the students, 18,000 students last year, did not apply for any scholarship. Their parents paid without asking government to support. And these are students we were imposing scholarships on, and yet their parents could afford. So what has that done? It has released more money for us to take care of vulnerable students. But when it was in Parliament, I could see many members of Parliament were going to piga kelele sana. Let me give you another example. Last year, we made a decision. We brought it to Parliament. Makelele ilikuwa mingi. Tukasema, we are putting a levy so that we don't have to import clinker, we don't have to import cement, we don't have to import furniture, we don't have to import, there was a fourth thing there. So, steel. Then industry went up and said, no, you see, okay. So this year, we had a conversation with industry, but we stood our ground because we said, if we have sufficient manufacturing capacity locally, if we have manufacturing capacity for steel, for cement, for clinker, for furniture locally, why do we have to import? And if you want to import because you feel like importing, pay a levy. Do you know what happened this year? The same Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and they were sitting with me yesterday, they were complaining about the levy of 17.5%. So we told them, okay, let us reduce it to 10. Yesterday, they came back to me and told me, no, Mr. President, let's give it a 17. What has happened? You know, you are right, actually. We have decided to invest in local manufacture. If you remove this levy, those imports are going to destroy our investment. Mnanielewa? When we were making the decision last year, it was not popular, it was not right, people were making noise. Today, the same people who are making noise at us are telling us, keep the levy because we have done the right thing. We have invested. More companies in Kenya are now manufacturing cement, they are now manufacturing clinker, and they are now manufacturing steel. Why am I telling you this? I am telling you this, that leadership is not always about taking the popular decisions. It is about taking the right decisions always. I will give you one final thing so that I let you go. You remember last year we came up with a fertilizer subsidy program. And many of you who come from farming areas, you know DAP has been our fertilizer for the last 30 years. Everybody believes DAP is the only fertilizer. So last year, because as a farmer myself, I know DAP is the wrong fertilizer because it has made our soils acidic. And I stopped using fertilizer DAP almost 5 years ago because it is wrong. But then last year, when we made the decision, Ministry of Agriculture came and told me that, you know, Mr. President, we must bring fertilizer if the farmers have to buy. Otherwise, the farmers will rebel, they will not buy. The farmers have insisted it must be DAP. I told them, we are not going to buy DAP. We are going to buy NPK that is customized for our soils, that is customized for our crops, because science that is available at the Ministry of Agriculture gives us the specifications for regions, for crops. We are going to go as per the scientific specifications. Forget about the DAP. Simuliana wakulima wakienda kupiga kelele, walipiga kelele huko Serikali imetuletea fertilizer hatujui, wamekataa kutuletea DAP, hatutaki, we have rejected. Finally, because it was subsidized, the farmers bought the fertilizer. 6 months into the story, all the farmers were there taking selfies with maize. Oh, the maize is very nice. The same farmers who are telling us we've given them the wrong stuff. So, I want to request KYPA across party lines to work with us to change this country. We can do it. We can do it if we make the right decisions. Because of time, I will leave it there for tonight. Lakini mimi niko na maneno. Niko na maneno. Sasa, nataka mjipange tukutane. Ndio tuongee. Because I am very passionate about the future of Kenya. And we must make the right decisions. We must make the right decisions. Because this country, our transformation has been delayed for far too long. We can turn around this country in record time. And I know you as young people, you should be able to see where we want to go, and we should be able, across party lines, to see how we can change our country. This evening, I will be going to Italy for the meeting of the G7. Kenya is not a member of the G7, but we've been invited, 2 presidents from Africa. And because we are discussing 2 very fundamental subjects, artificial intelligence and climate change. Both subjects have a huge bearing on young people. And